Kia ora tamarikima. Today it's a nice sunny day outside, so I thought I would do some painting. So I'm going to do some watercolor painting, and that's where we use a little bit of paint, a little bit of watercolor paint, but lots of water to do our painting. So I'm going to go through my steps with you, one session at a time, and it's quite fun. All you need is some watercolor paints if you have them. And you can use normal paint if you want, and you can do something similar. Sorry about all the noise from the cars outside. There shouldn't be that many. So just watch along, and I hope you show me what you've done. So first I just want to plan what I'm going to draw, and I've decided to draw the ocean because we're learning about water, and also the ocean is my favourite place to go. So I'm just going to take a pencil. I'm just drawing my ocean here quickly. I'm drawing the sunrise, maybe some clouds, and these are just very basic shapes of what I want to paint. I'm not adding too much detail, just basically where I can change the colors. Then I'm going to mix up some watercolor paint for us, and what I'm going to need is a paint palette. So this is where I put my paints in that I'm going to use, and that's so I can mix in some water with them. You can also use a paper plate or a container that you've got in the kitchen, because you can always wash it afterwards. So just add some white paint because that's what I'm going to use for my first layer. I'm also going to need some yellow. So as you can see, I'm just putting a little bit of paint in. I'm not adding too much paint. I don't want to waste any. I can always put in more if I need it later. I'm also going to need probably some red. Yep, some red paint. And I'm going to put red paint in there as well, just because I might create some orange. So to make orange, I need some red and yellow paint. And when I mix that, I'm going to get orange paint. Now I'm just taking my paintbrush that I'm going to use, and I need to add some water. So I'm just going to mix up that white paint and just add water to it, because it's watercolor paint. So what I want to do is I want to make the paint as thin as possible. So I can add some paint, and if I want it even thinner, I can add more water. What I'm doing now is I'm just creating that first layer of watercolor paint. So I'm taking the white and I'm just painting over the whole page.
Putting water on.
As you can see, my paintbrush is a little bit small, but that's just because I'm in lockdown. I don't have any other paintbrushes around. They're all just as thin, but I'm happy to use whatever I have. So I'm just painting, going from left to right, and I'm going all over the page, making sure that my whole page is a little bit wet at the end. After I've painted my whole page with the first layer, I'm going to go put my page in the sun so that it can dry. I just need that first layer to dry before I go on to the next step. After about 10 minutes in the sun, I'm going to get my paper back, and I'm going to paint the second layer. So I'm just using the second lightest color I've got, which is yellow, and I'm going to go over the whole page painting with that yellow, just doing my second layer. After I've completed this layer, I'm going to go put them in the sun again. Now I'm going to do another layer of yellow, but this time I'm only going to paint the sky. So I'm not going to go over the whole page with this darker yellow, just the sky. I'm then going to wash my paintbrush. I'm going to get some blue water paint colors, and I'm going to use this color for the ocean. And again, after this layer, I'm going to put my painting out in the sun for another 10 minutes to dry. So for this layer, I've added some orange watercolor paint, and that's where I mixed some red and yellow paint earlier. I'm also adding some blue to darken my ocean, and then I've also mixed some white and black paint together to make a grey color. I'm using this grey watercolor to do the clouds, and again putting it in the sun to dry. After my painting dried in the sun a bit, I noticed that the sun wasn't as bright as I would have liked, so I'm adding some more yellow watercolor paint to the painting just to make my sun a bit brighter. I'm also going to add some blue to my ocean just to get some waves into my painting. These touch-ups are a great idea for the end of your painting, just adding more detail. You can use darker colors in some places, you can add extra colors, you can do what you like to your painting. So I've put my painting out to dry for the last time, and I've also gone and washed my paintbrush and my paint palette and rinsed out the cups of water just to make sure I've cleaned everything up afterwards. So make sure you cleaned up all your equipment and wait for your painting to dry. This is what my painting looked like once it was finished drying for the last time. Tamarikima, I hope you paint something as well. Send it through to your class teacher, and I would love to see what you've created. Ka kite anō, Tamarikima.